Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris Man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. Today, I have for sale the EMU Percussion drum module. Without a doubt, this is probably the best drum module that has ever been released. You know, I remember when it came out, because the first one I had, it was brand new. I paid over $1,000. It was worth it, every single penny. You know, before that one, because that one kind of set the new standards that no one has really surpassed. Because when I was reading, I used to read a lot of trade publications. I don't know if Electronic Musician is still in publication, but I used to get a lot of information about new gear coming out. And I remember the advertisement in there. And what blew me away was, prior to this sound module being released, the sound modules prior had maybe 100 sounds, maybe 150 in them. The R8, I think, had like maybe 200. And when I read the description of this one in that electronic magazine, musicians magazine, over 1,000. It's like 1,000 drum sounds. Where can I get me one, please? You know, this thing is awesome. It has a ton of sounds. It has again over 1,000 sound patches. Some of them are bass patches from their famous PROTEUS. And PROTEUS kind of set the new standard for sound modules at the time. Just about everything EMU come out with is like groundbreaking. You know, it sets a new standard. You know, when PROTEUS came out, everybody ran out and bought them. The sounds are already studio ready. You hear them all those records back in the 80s, you know. Nothing but praise for that. And this is coming from my personal, private musical gear collection. Because a lot of stuff that I sell you guys have come from someone else as a barter sometimes. I do studio work and they don't have all the money. So they give me something that I can sell or keep. You know, because I try my best to help the young, struggling musician like the guys that helped me get to where I got, you know. And I appreciate that. So I try to do that. And now my cat wants to leave. So sometimes I take in stuff and I keep it or resell it. But this came from my personal collection. It's in mint condition. The way it came is the way it's going out. There's no scratches on the surface. There's no knobs missing. There's no power cord missing nonsense. There's no dim display. Going out of here. Going out of here. Sorry about that. Every time. But I'm going to stick it up to the camera, let you guys see it. And another thing I want to mention before I forget is the stuff back in this era was made much better. This new musical kit is garbage. You know, they want to chain you to your computer. And I just thought about this the other day. I said, why do people like rappers or whoever sample stuff from the 50s, 60s, 70s instead of sample something that came out 10 years ago? And the answer is the recording process back then, analog, the ambience of the song or the record. You can't get that now. Why? Because you're chaining your computer. You know, it's still an analog tape reeling going or a digital one, you know, and they're trying to capture that feel. They can't do that with the new crap now and the new recording process, you know. But I'll turn it on for you guys. It works. It's so easy to use. You know, you MIDI up to your drum machine or your controller. It has those rabbit ears built in. It's still you take a screw and screw them in. The surface on the top, there's not one scratch. Because usually people's stuff be all scratched up, rusty. Because I told you one guy sold me a module. I had to send it back. It was all rusty. The knob was shaking. It's like, dude, I got to send this back, man. Because at some point I'm going to resell this. And I can't sell this garbage to somebody else. I wouldn't feel good about that. Because I actually had just done this video. But I said, let me do this video. Because I forgot to mention these important points on the back. See, this is old school gear. You see the MIDI ports? MIDI in, MIDI out, MIDI through. Now the new garbage, MIDI in, MIDI out. You need a MIDI through. And I'll tell you why. If you're doing MIDI, you're going to most likely have several chains in your hookup, meaning that you got your keyboard, you got a sound module that you want to pull from, because that sound you want in the module is not on the keyboard. Then you want to chain your drum machine to it. So when you hit your controller that has perhaps a sequence built into it, everything starts. So if you don't have a Thru, you're going to have a hard time chaining up a lot of stuff because you need the Thru. But now the new gear, they just omitted that. Some of them don't even have MIDI, because they want to chain you to your crappy computer. And another thing, because again, the MIDI out, MIDI through. The other thing is this has 6 outs. And you say to yourself, the young people, why do I need 6 outs? If you're going to do professional recording, you want to separate your drums as much as possible. You do not want your kick and your snare on the same channel. Why? Because 98% of the time, unless you're trying to do something new and avant-garde, you don't want to put nothing on your kick drum. I hear noise. You don't put nothing on your kick drum but compression. Sometimes people like just a little reverb if you're most likely doing a ballad. So you want to separate that because you're always going to put something on your drums. You don't really want nothing on your hats because they're going to sound splashy if you put reverb. But with the new gear, you can't separate your drums unless you do a SMPTE and then lock in. Well, it's a headache to do all that. The old gear got it because it's like, yeah, this is how we record. We separate everything as much as possible. The new stuff, we're just going to cram it into two studio inputs or outputs and call it a day. So they're doing a lot of skimping now on new gear. And most of it is garbage. I'm probably do a whole nother video on that is garbage. And I'm going to tell you why. Like, again, there's no more MIDI through on the new stuff. And then they only give you 2 of these when you get 6 of these. So that's enough to separate, your drums. But I'm letting it go for $270 because when these were brand new, my very first one, I spent over $1,000 and it was worth every penny of it. So $270 plus $25 shipping and handling. It'll go out the very next day, United States Postage with tracking, and you get in the signature required, meaning that when it shows up, you got to sign for it, So my PayPal is right down there, morrisman64@hotmail.com. Cut and paste it and send it. If you're not a good typist, don't try to, because I've had some people that typed it in wrong. Morrisman Smith. It's morrisman64@hotmail.com. I'll leave the stats down here for this. I'll probably leave a video of the song, the demo song in here. It's great. Babyface used this on TLC, Baby, Baby, Baby. When you get a chance, check that out. Listen to it. All those drums and that drum program was written in this thing. I mean, this thing has been on countless amount of hit records. And again, you get 1,000 sounds. Some of them are bass patches from the world famous PROTEUS one when it came out. Because usually when EMU puts stuff out, it's set to a new standard. Because when this came out, it set a new standard. It's like you got an Akai MP60. That's cool. But this thing already got 1,000 sounds in it. Instead of you loading this, taking out, loading this. That was a pain in the ass to me. Sometimes it would take just 15 minutes to 20 minutes just to have all your drums on the pad. Instead of this thing, you turned it on prior to, turning it on. You've probably MIDI'd up your drum machine to this as far as the MIDI notes, or if you haven't, you do it, and then you're set. You save your kit, and this already have 128 ready to go kits in it. And I'm one of them people where from track to track, if I'm releasing a product, a CD, and I got 12, 13 songs, just about every song has a different drum kit instead of the same drums. So I fell in love with this thing, and I'm still in love with it, but I just don't use it anymore. Last time I used this thing, I used it almost a year ago on a project I did, and it's just been sitting up in my closet. And when I value my gear, I literally hide it. I'm like, I put it up in the closet, But, I'm basically semi-retired now, musical-wise, so I just don't need all this stuff. And then I'm moving some, to get up out of this ghost written house. So there's some things I'm going to part with that I would like to keep forever because, I love this thing. I like the look of it. Like I said, man's is in excellent conditions. There's not even a scratch on the top. Because normally when you get these from somebody, they're all scratched up on the top And like the new thing, power cord missing. How do you let your power cord get away? You're a grown man, and you can't keep, knobs shaking and missing. That says a lot about you, because this stuff ain't cheap. It's different if it was $10. I just buy another one and I break it, But my gear, the condition it comes is the condition it goes out. If it shows up jacked up, it goes back. Because at some point in time, most likely you're going to part with some of your gear. You don't want to sell stuff to people with the knobs missing, no power cord, the display is dark, dim, and cracked. None of that, It hurts the value. And then it just says a lot about you as an individual that you can't take care of your expensive gear. You're a grown man. You're worse than a child with your stuff, But again, $270, $25 shipping and handling. My PayPal is right down there. Please cut and paste it. Be sure when you send payment, because you send me a comment, say, Morris, man, I want to grab it. Just give me the green light. I give you the green light. You send me the money. And when you're in the process of sending payment, please do this. Please do this, because this can delay this transaction for a week or two. So, when you get ready to send payment, utilize that message box. Put your name in there, your address, what you're paying for. Or if it's a download, put your email address in there. Because like I told you guys, for some bizarre reason, PayPal has removed that information. As the seller, you go in and get that information to prepare the buyer's product, whether it's physically shipping something or download. And now that's missing, because I thought a lot of people just wasn't putting it in there. But I did a test, because I said, let me try this. I had my wife go in and look at a transaction that I sent her as far as some bills. And when she went in, my name and address wasn't there. My email wasn't there. So it's PayPal. PayPal's the culprit in most of these. So that's why now you got to utilize that message box when you send your payment. Because if you don't, this is what's going to happen. You send me money. You don't put nothing in the message box. I go in to get your shipping address so I can, start preparing your order. And then I go in, nothing. No email for me to even contact you. Say I need shipping address. No shipping address. So I can't do nothing. PayPal has this thing where now it's this new garbage message. And I can message you. That doesn't work. Nobody that I've tried to message said they got it. People told me they tried to message me. I've never got it. So please don't use that. Just put that information in the message box. Because again, if you don't, I can't contact you. And usually it take a week for people to figure out, well, I ain't got my stuff yet. After day 3, when you haven't received anything from me, as far as a download, because you usually get that the same day, no later than the next day, or I'm shipping you out something, and day 3, you haven't gotten any email confirmation as far as tracking from me, something has went awry. So please put that in there, because that's the difference between getting your stuff in 4 days or it's going to take 2 weeks, because it took you a week to figure out, hey, I ain't got my stuff. Then it's going to take another week to ship and stuff. So please put that in the message box. I'm going to leave some stats down here for this item or this device. Also, I'll leave you a link so you can hear the demo song. It's great. I mean, all these cool snares that are in here, all these cool hits, snares and kicks, because Baby 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 by TLC start off with the kick drum. Boom, boom, boom. It's in here. And I forgot the name of it right off the top of my head, but I'm like, I use that all the time. It's kind of like a kick with a tambourine under it, a light tambourine under it. This is a Dynamite sound module. And if I didn't mention this at the beginning, then I'm going to sound out. Without a doubt, this is the best sound module that has ever been released. Believe me, the new stuff is garbage. They want to chain you to your computer. It's real thin and weak and airy. This thing cuts through your mix. Because if you're doing hip hop, pop, and R&B, your drums got to be slamming. They got to cut through the mix. They can't be all buried up under there, And this thing has presence. It's like, boom, whoa, So until next time, take care and thanks for watching. Just want to make sure that I didn't miss any important information, because that's why I just redid this video, because I didn't mention as far as the MIDI ports and the outs, so you can separate your drums, because when you're doing professional recording, You want to separate your stuff unless you have no choice to keep it combined, and then it becomes limited because you don't want to put reverb on your whole kit. You don't want it on your kick drum. You don't want it on your hi-hats or your crashes. You just really want it on your tom-toms, perhaps, if people even use those anymore, because the majority of the songs I hear now, no tom-toms, no crashes. It's like, we kind of watering this track down, but you only want your reverb on your kick on your snare, and perhaps some percussion stuff, but not on your hi-hats or your crash. Until next time, take care. Again, $270, $25 shipping and handling. My PayPal information is right down there. If you have any questions, leave a comment. You want to grab this, leave a comment, say, Morris, man, I want that. I've heard about that, and these are hard to find. So I definitely want this. Till next time, take care, and thanks for watching.